Bones are the Earth's most faithful language. They come from calcium in the deep sea, from the vibrations of rocks, and from the breath of the planets. You think they're part of your body structure, but they're actually the Earth's imprint within you. Each bone is a fragment of the Earth's memory. It records not only your life, but also a dream you've never realized belongs to the Earth. When you hear your bones creak softly in the night, it's not a joint problem. It's the Earth using you to make its voice heard. You think your body belongs to you, but perhaps it's just a borrowed structure of the Earth, allowing its consciousness to vibrate through time. Ancient priests knew this long ago. They hammered bone tools, carved bones for divination, and constructed instruments from bone in order to hear the Earth's frequency. And you thought it was just superstition. Have you ever wondered? Why do your bones heal on their own? You're asleep, not thinking, not commanding, not aware, yet they repair themselves, grow, and calculate on their own. Who is making them do this? You simply live in it. Humans have always believed that the body belongs to me, but the body never reports its decisions to you. You don't know when your blood is regenerating, when your bone calcium is being lost, which bones are deforming, or which nerves are replicating. Your control over your body is nothing but an illusion. Bones are containers created by the Earth. Their shape is the result of gravity. Their texture is a continuation of rock compression. Their calcium comes from ocean salt. Every bone in your body repeats the Earth's structural logic: support, symmetry, resonance, and conduction. So, when the ancients said, man is a microcosm of heaven and earth, it wasn't a metaphor. It's physical reality. Your bones are actually an extension of the Earth within you. They allow you to move, stand, and become a species that stands on the ground. But the price is, your consciousness is trapped in its structural frequency. You think you're thinking, but you're actually vibrating. Every thought is defined by the electrochemical signals of your bones. The anger, fear, love, faith, pain you feel, all must be transmitted through the vibrations of your bones. Bones are the translators between consciousness and matter. You think you control your body, but in reality, it's your bones that control who you become. Think about it. Why do human culture, architecture, symbols, and music all follow a similar bone logic? The vault of a church resembles the rib cage. The core of a pyramid resembles the vertebrae. The trajectory of the stars resembles the rhythm of bones. The scale of music corresponds to the frequency of bone vibrations. None of this is coincidental. It's the Earth repeating its structure on different levels, and you are just a smaller version of it. Bones are not part of your body. They are part of the Earth's consciousness, temporarily borrowing your shape. We always thought that the shape of bones was for practical purposes: support, movement, defense, and support. But have you ever really looked at a human rib? Doesn't that curvature resemble the vault of an ancient temple? Look at the human vertebrae again. They extend upward, one segment after another like an ancient pagoda, its axis pointing straight to the sky. What's most terrifying is that bones don't grow randomly. Each of the 206 bones in the human body exhibits a remarkable geometric symmetry. Their angles, positions, and lengths surprisingly match the structural logic of many ancient buildings. We thought these were just coincidences. But when scientists compared the geometric model of the human skeleton with the hierarchical proportions of Mayan temples, the angles of pyramids, and the flower of life pattern in sacred geometry, they discovered a pattern. This pattern suggests that bones were designed according to a certain sacred structure. Even more chilling, in the myths of many ancient civilizations, the birth of humanity is linked to bones. In Egyptian mythology, the gods created humans from the bone of the Earth's core. The Indian Vedas believed that the skeleton of the universe was broken down into human limbs at the creation of the world. The Mayans believed that human bones contain interstellar codes. This is not superstition, but a metaphor of bone-as original code. Think about this again. Why can sound penetrate bones? Why do ears have bone conduction? Why did ancient divination spells, rituals, and voice transmitters all use bone as a medium? That's because bones aren't just material. They're a vibration interface, a frequency transceiver. When you speak, your bones vibrate. When you're silent, they record. When you meditate, they act like a tuner, searching for a matching signal. Some shamans believe that bones continue to resonate for a while after death. They don't immediately become silent, but like the reverberation of an instrument, whispering into space the signal that the soul still exists. So the question is, are your bones yours? Or are they more like containers, symbols left within you by some higher being? When you first walk into a Gothic church and gaze up at its intersecting vaults and soaring domes, do you have an indescribable feeling, like you've stepped inside a body? That's not an illusion. Architects have long discovered that the layouts of temples, tombs, and even plazas in many ancient civilizations inadvertently mimic the shape of the human skeleton. If you don't believe me, look, does the central axis of the Egyptian pyramids resemble the human spine? The dome of the temple's ceiling is practically an enlarged version of the inner surface of the human skull. The trunk of the tower of an Indian temple resembles a vertebra extending upward. Even China's dragon bone structure appears repeatedly on the roofs of palaces. Is this a coincidence? Or is there a hidden bone aesthetic that has always guided humanity? The strangest thing is that in places you've never noticed, bones are also silently replicated. Have you seen the buttresses in churches? Do they resemble supporting ribs? Have you seen the mandala patterns in Tibetan temples? That interlocking radial structure is almost identical to the distribution of nerve pathways at the base of the skull. These aren't the artist's fantasies, but rather a subconscious reenactment of bone structure. Even music hasn't escaped this bone metaphor. Bone flutes are among the earliest musical instruments. Bells mimic the resonance of the hollow bones. The cavity design of nearly all speakers pursues a bone-conducted resonant mode. Have you ever wondered why bones can make sounds? Because they were designed long ago as sound wave devices, not only receiving but also amplifying and remembering sounds. The world you live in is actually an exoskeleton. Its bridges, domes, towers, stone pillars, underground palaces, every great architectural structure is an attempt to reconstruct the resonant system of the human skeleton. And this structure is preserved deep within civilization, from temples and altars to priests' staffs, masks, and sacred vessels. Bones are constantly replicated, disassembled, transformed, and embellished, but their essence remains unchanged. For everyone knows one thing: bones are pathways for energy to travel across dimensions. Have you ever experienced, suddenly awakened in the middle of the night by bone pain with no clear cause? Have you ever experienced tingling in your joints for a while, but X-rays show nothing is wrong? Someone may laugh at you for being neurotic, but you know it's not an illusion. Your bones are speaking. They are reminding you somewhere in your body's frequency is derailed. In many ancient civilizations, bones were not silent organs, but rather spiritual alarms. The Mayans believed that bone pain was a warning from the gods, using earthquakes as a warning. The Indian Vedas state that vibrations in the joints indicate internal energy blockage. Tibetan medicine records that when the wind wheel is misaligned, the bones will emit non-pathological, intense pain to propel the soul back to its original position. Sounds like superstition, right? But modern science has long confirmed that when a person experiences extreme emotions, psychological trauma, or repression, the bioelectric field within bone cells becomes abnormal, disrupting the flow of calcium ions and causing passive bone pain. Simply put, emotions can bump your bones. That pain isn't caused by broken bones, but by a loss of resonance with who you are. Your bones are the bridge between your inner truth and the frequency of the world. They don't passively support you. They are constantly monitoring you. The further you stray from truth, the more they vibrate for you, and the more painful it becomes. If you simply take painkillers every time you experience bone pain, it's like someone knocking on your door and you put on headphones. Just because you can't hear it doesn't mean there's no being behind the door. Have you ever considered that the recurring back pain, shoulder stiffness, and knee instability you've experienced over the years might not be aging, but rather some forgotten system trying to awaken you? Have you ever realized that your skeleton is actually your final link to truth? But you've never responded to it. You let it silently support you but never ask it, "Are you okay?" Start now, try this. Close your eyes, put down your phone, think nothing, and simply listen deep within your body. You will hear waves of irregular rhythms, throbbing. And resonances, that's not an illusion, that's your bones' self-broadcast. It doesn't speak a language, it speaks frequency, and frequency is your true mother tongue. Many people believe that death is the end. Bones decay, ashes turn to dust, and everything returns to zero. But have you noticed? In human civilization, the most enduring thing isn't the soul, nor memory, but the bones. A city can vanish, a book can burn, but a single bone can endure in the dust for 5,000 years. Archaeologists' first clue is bone. The first instrument used in priestly rituals is bone. The first symbol used by fortune tellers is bone. Because bone is the only language that can transcend time. Imagine this. Thousands of years from now, if the earth were reset again, and civilization were wiped out, what would remain wouldn't be your photos, voice, or ID, but your bones. And within those bones, perhaps the rhythms, emotions, beliefs, and even the vibrations you've never spoken. This isn't just poetic fantasy. Rather, it's the bone memory hypothesis. Being studied in biophysics, scientists have discovered that the arrangement of microstructures in bones can record the long-term stress patterns a person experienced during their lifetime. For example, if someone habitually suppresses emotions, experiences years of anxiety, or fears death, these emotional forces can actually alter the arrangement of their bones. In simpler terms, how you live. Your bones remember. The way you vibrate may be how you will be read in the future. So you think you're just living one life, but your bones are actually writing a record for the next civilization. You're more than just you. You're a frequency chip of civilization. So the question is, what kind of bone do you want the future to see? A twisted, distorted, fear-filled, low-frequency fragment? Or a harmoniously flowing bone of awakening, with a clear vibrational rhythm? You think you can influence civilization? But one of your ribs may become a key in the hands of a new human 3,000 years from now. If bones are keys, then your current lifestyle is the key algorithm. So begin to notice. Every word you speak, every choice you make, every anger you endure, every truth you suppress, all leave their mark in your bones, and the frequency of your life will eventually be recalibrated by someone. Spreading frequency requires more than just words. You don't need to be an influencer, a scientist, an author, or a speaker. You only need to truly vibrate once, and your bones will become a recognizable frequency source. Live in truth, and your bones will resonate. Walk in awakening, and your bones will shine. Dare to face your true self, and your bones will speak. This is your deepest connection with the world, not through expression, not through knowledge, not through labels, but through whether each of your bones vibrates the sound it should. Now ask yourself this: if only a bone remained after your death, what frequency would you want it to emit? Fear, anger, or perhaps a signal of awakening for an era? You think the bone belongs to you, but in reality, you are its information carrier. You are transmitting a signal to the future on behalf of the earth. The vibration begins with your awakening right now.